Welcome to the Ride With Us podcast, a podcast dedicated to the Prescott Rodeo Grounds and the world's oldest rodeo. It's history, traditions, some storytelling, and all the events happening at the rodeo grounds. I'm your host, Greg Mengarelli, and it's my privilege to have a good friend of mine, Julie Jutton, in with us today. Julie, thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Julie has a lot going on, as you're going to find out, around rodeo. Has her own company where she manages different events, but right now you're in town for the PBR Professional Bull Riders event that's coming up this weekend.
I am. I'm excited to be here. This is one of my favorite communities in the country, and I go to a lot of them. But we have a PBR here this weekend. It's the 18th annual Mile High PBR, and I help with production and sponsorships and PR and all kinds of fun stuff.
Well, thanks for doing that. It's very important for our region to have these kind of events. Our spectators here love rodeo and they love PBR, and so I'm sure you'll have a packed house this weekend, and wish you all the best with that. So, Julie, gosh, there's so many different directions I want to go here, but let's start with kind of your first introduction to the world's oldest rodeo. I know that predates our current general manager, and talk a little bit about how you've been involved with the world's oldest rodeo.
Yeah, you bet. I, prior to launching my own business, I worked at the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association for a really long time. And in that time there, I held a lot of different positions, kind of moved around. My last position there was as the industry outreach director. And in that program, we did a lot of youth outreach. And so we started doing free rodeo camps around the country to give kids an opportunity to just kind of test rodeo, to try it out. It's dangerous and it's expensive, and it's not like signing up for a soccer camp. It's a whole different ballgame. So we started this program and we went around the country and we targeted our rodeo committees, and we called them and said, hey, will you host a rodeo camp? You have to pay for it. Can we come into your community and do this school? And so we contacted World's Oldest, and JC Trujillo was your GM at that time. And he, of course, has a big heart for youth rodeo. I think his grandkids alone are a testament to that and his interest in teaching kids. And so he welcomed us with open arms. And I don't know how many camps we did here. He was one of our first hosts. This community brought us in. We had a full camp, 30, 40 kids, and we had a great time. And we came back year after year to do that school. And this committee has supported a lot. I think we're going to talk about the crisis fund in a little while, but the committee has always, even under JC, supported the crisis fund through donations and other ways of helping us.
Right.
So, but the rodeo camps was my first intro into this community, and loved the committee right away. Would love to move here eventually. It's a great town.
Well, you're on record as this is your favorite community, so we appreciate that. We believe that too. So, well, JC's a huge proponent of rodeo, youth in rodeo, has the grandkids in rodeo. I'm sure he'll have some of those grandkids riding this weekend here in Prescott Valley. So we appreciate JC and his contributions to the world's oldest rodeo. He was there a long time and did such a fabulous job. So you were involved with PRCA. You have your own company. You mentioned Justin Cowboy Crisis Fund. I think we need to talk about Turquoise Circuit finals, which you're involved in. You really touch a lot of rodeo in Arizona, even though you live in Colorado.
Right.
Where do you live in Colorado?
I'm in Southwest Colorado near Montrose. It's high desert. It's a quick 8-hour drive over here. I can just buzz right over.
quick 8 hours.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we were just talking before we got on here, and I think you said you're going to be here about a month with different events and activities here in Arizona. So maybe you do need a second home out here.
I think so. I definitely think so.
So you got started with the world's oldest rodeo, doing those camps, and thank you for doing that. But our current general manager, Jim Dewey Brown, pretty well How did you get to know Jim and what's your involvement with him? Why in the world would you hang out with Jim Dewey?
I know on purpose, right? So, I don't really remember when we first met. I'm thinking it was probably college rodeo era. And, but the first project I remember us working on together was a hay drive. So there had been this huge fire in Colorado Springs, and it was right about the time of college finals. And Jim was still coaching in New Mexico, but he was the production manager for college finals. And so we did this hay drive initiative to try to bring hay into Colorado Springs to feed all of these displaced animals. And so I hauled a trailer up to he kicked the table and I just hit the microphone. I hauled a trailer up to Casper and collected all this hay. People from all around Wyoming brought us hay, and it was full, and the back of the truck bed was full, and we took it back to Colorado Springs. And college finals wraps up and the kids move out, and I get this call from Jim. There's a lot of hay here. So apparently when the kids were leaving, I'd already left town with a full trailer because people have big hearts. And so they just left their hay. They didn't haul it with them. They just left it for us, assuming we'd be able to take it. So he loaded it up on a trailer and brought it down to Colorado Springs for us, and had to load it and unload it twice. And it was kind of ridiculous. But, no, it's one of those no good deeds goes unpunished kind of activities. But we did get some hay. And that's sort of the first project I ever worked on with him. And then kind of similar work ethics, similar belief in the rodeo and what rodeo could be, and kind of embracing our past and looking to the future. And so it's kind of a great working friendship. And we sort of do a lot of weird little activities in rodeo.
I think I hear Jim calling you like whenever he has some new project or something he needs to get done. I think you're one of the first calls he makes. I'm kind of like the other duties as assigned. He's also the commissioner of college rodeo, which I'm guessing people here know. Right. And so I do some work with college rodeo as well. And I'm always I have a specific role there, but it's sort of, it's other duties as assigned. So it's great to brainstorm with somebody who has similar ideas about what could be in rodeo. Yeah. So, yeah. So I think I've seen you as a vendor at the world's oldest rodeo.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Do you do that around the country or different rodeos or?
So I'm not busy enough. So I decided to open up a traveling boutique, cactusj.com, for anyone who wants to go shop. But I came here one year. Y'all do a fundraiser for us, and I was coming here for that anyway. And I said, hey, can I set up? Is there any room in the vendor area? And so I brought my trailer, and I made my cousins come and work. It's a big show. It's a long show, and there's a lot of people that come through here. So we're selling our jewelry and our shirts. And it was so hot. So I work a lot of rodeos, and that day I think it was a Saturday, and it was one of your 2 perf days. And after the first perf, I went over to the ice truck, and I was like, I just need a bag of ice. And I have a picture on my Instagram, and I'm like sitting in my trailer just holding this bag of ice. It was so hot. Anyway, it was great.
Cactus J. Yeah.
Just right. It's low priority for me, but I have some cute stuff in there, and I take it to some rodeos, and it's fun.
Good for you.
Just a little creative outlet.
Something extra to do. Yeah. Well, I think one of the most important things or aspects of the relationship that you have with our rodeo is with Justin Cowboy Crisis Fund. And, Jim and you, I don't know whose brainchild it was, but Whiskey, Women, and Wine is our fundraiser, our event. And by the way, if you haven't been to Whiskey, Women, and Wine, I would encourage you to check it out. It's a great event that happens during the rodeo, and all the proceeds go to Justin Cowboy Crisis Fund. And it's a lot of fun. The ladies in there have a blast, drink a little wine.
Yes.
Or a lot of wine.
And some whiskey.
And I've had the privilege of helping out with it as well. But tell us a little bit about maybe that event, and then particularly JCCF and kind of what you do, what JCCF does.
Yeah, great. I'll actually start with JCCF because it ties in nicely with what you all do for us. So the Justin Cowboy Crisis Fund was technically founded in 1989. It's been around a long time. Officially started operating as a nonprofit in 1991. And we have, over the years, given out, we're just almost to our 10 million mark. So
Wow.
$10 million in assistance to injured rodeo cowboys and cowgirls. And the idea there is that these rodeo athletes, they're not under contract like an NFL player. They're professional athletes. They train, they work hard just like professional athletes. They put in their time and their dues, but they don't have contracts. So if you break an ankle or fracture your arm, like you're out and you have no income in a lot of cases. A lot of these guys, this is their full-time career. This is their job, how they make money. There's a kind of a secondary level of cowboys that they call weekend warriors or the circuit level cowboys. A lot of them are employed and have jobs and just rodeo on the weekend. But if you get injured, you probably can't do your regular job either, depending on the type of injury and your type of work. So we created this crisis fund, and we give out money to people who are in need. And it's really served the industry very well, I think. Yeah. And there's two very cool things about the program. It obviously fills a need, but we do 100% of all donations go to our mission. So 100% of everything we get goes to help cowboys. We don't take out any money for overhead in any way. 100% goes to the cowboys. So we've had to get creative in how we cover overhead, because there's obviously going to be some overhead. And the PRCA and the Justin Boot Company cover that overhead. Okay. So when you donate to the Crisis Fund, we can guarantee every penny is going to go to help an injured cowboy or cowgirl.
Yeah, that's impressive.
It's impressive, and it's difficult to do, more and more difficult to do in this day and age. But it's the commitment that was made, and the folks who founded the Crisis Fund were really forward thinking, and they created a great charity with a great mission and vision, and we work within that. And we love it. And so because we don't have any money to spend on things like fundraising, we do rely on the industry. And that's where World's Oldest comes in, and a lot of other committees around the country. But we rely on them to do fundraising for us at their time, at their expense. And so we are constantly engaging with and interacting with rodeo committees and sponsors and just industry people to put on events for us or come up with ways of raising money so that we can do what we do. And there's a lot of great fundraisers that happen around the country. And your committee has a huge passion for helping cowboys. And so the idea, it wasn't my idea. It was a brainchild of the office, and they came up with this event, and it was great. The first year I came out for it, and they did a great event. It was a brand new event. You have to buy tickets. It's an auction. There's some great food, some great wine and whiskey. But I was blown away the second year because the fundraising totals doubled. Literally, the check doubled. And they did great the first year, but last year it was double, and it was wonderful. So
yeah, I was there both years, and I agree with you. The first year you kind of expect maybe not as big of a crowd, and we had a nice crowd, and we raised some good money. But the second year I was sitting there thinking, what's Jim going to do for a venue? Because I was helping get bids out of the back of the room. The Freeman's kind of that long, narrow hall. And but I was like, there's no room to grow. Yeah. So, probably they'll keep it there again this year, but there may be a time where we need more space.
Absolutely.
I hope.
That'd be great. I mean, it's certainly at capacity, and I've heard rumors of ideas of growth and how they might still make the Freeman work, but it's a great event to attend, and it's just fun. It's last year we had a few cowboys that we interviewed that had Crisis Fund assistance, and I think that's one of the biggest ways to share our story is to hear from a cowboy who received assistance, because we sometimes take it for granted. But if you have a wife at home and you've got kids at home and you have to make sure they're fed, and if anyone has any medical illness and you're worried about medical bills, or if you're a timed event guy and you have horses, you have to feed them. Right. They need food, and you have to take them to the vet. And so our goal is that when you're out injured, your horses are fed and your children are fed. And when you talk to a cowboy who tells you that testimony,
Yeah.
it's life-changing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can talk about it all I want, but talking to those guys is a real game changer.
Yeah. So. A couple things there, Julie. One, I don't think people always think about when they think about athletes in general, they get this big fat salary, right? Not rodeo cowboys and cowgirls, right? They have to go out and earn it every performance if they're going to get paid. They don't get a check unless they're in the arena.
Right.
And that's where JCCF really helps those folks, bridge those gaps when they can't be in the arena.
Correct.
And then the other thing I was going to mention is a friend of mine, Cody Escobedo, is a bullfighter, you know him, and he talks about receiving help when he had an injury that put him down for about a year.
Yeah.
And, he said, I couldn't have made it without JCCF. So great work.
Yeah, it is. It's for sure rodeo, whether you're a bullfighter or a stock contractor or a contestant, it's definitely a for the love of the game kind of thing. And so, you take the hits as you get them. Cody was a real delight to help because we get this with a lot of cowboys and cowgirls. They don't want to apply, right? They're like, well, I'm not that bad off. I'm okay. Like there's somebody worse off than me. And we appreciate that mentality and we don't want anyone to take advantage, but we also don't want you to go broke or go into debt while you're trying to recover. And another big mission of ours, we are sister companies with the Justin Sports Medicine team, who's also comes to your rodeo, and they offer great services. But one thing we learned right away is that these guys are more tempted to go back before they should if they need the money. And so we don't want you to go back if you're not ready. You're going to re-injure the same thing. It's going to be worse. You're going to be out longer. And so one of our goals is that, no, you just stay out. We'll help you until you get that doctor release if you meet the criteria, and just go to PT and do your thing and heal up. Because that's worse, re-injuring it worse is just catastrophic, and it's silly at this point to do it.
I don't think anyone out there would be surprised that cowboys probably have trouble following doctor's orders.
They are required to send me the doctor release, and it's always a funny conversation. And that's a message. Once you are approved for assistance, there's some formality that happens, and one of the big things is like follow the doctor's orders, and they'll check in with me throughout their time on assistance, and I get videos of them at PT, and my finishing message is always, do what the doctor says, go to PT. Like we don't want you to apply again for the same injury. So
Right. Well, it's great work you do there. Thanks for partnering with us. We're privileged to help out. How much money do you raise in a year? Like all these different fundraisers, not the corporate giving side of it, but just the fundraising in a year.
Oh gosh. To break it down by that category, not exact, but approximate, I would say we're close to probably $500,000.
Wow.
On those types of fundraising.
Yeah, that's impressive.
There's a lot of committees that do annual events and that have done them for a very long time. And World's Oldest is going down that path with their Wine Women Whiskey event. And so I imagine in 10, 15 years, when we pull the total from the fundraising for this event, it will be very high. And last year, the amount we give out from year to year really varies because it depends on accidents and what's happening. I commented the other day, everybody's been real healthy so far this year. And then it has kind of blown up. There's, rodeo's getting busier. It's that part of the season where it's picking up. And so we're starting to see a lot more accidents and applications. And, we hate seeing that because we would rather not hear from you. And, and I've had a cowboy call recently, and I said, well, how you doing? And then before he could even answer, I said, well, you're not doing good if you had to call me, because you don't want to call me. And so I think it is, I don't know. We do a lot, and I love it. It's an honor to work as a steward for this organization and serve in this capacity. In 2023, 3, we gave out $750,000 alone.
Wow.
Last year was a little less, and we like those years because we don't want injured cowboys and cowgirls. We want everyone to be healthy and rodeoing and living their dream. So, we prefer that we're not giving out a ton of money.
Sure.
But,
yeah. That would be our hope anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great organization. Thanks for what you do there. Let's see. We've covered PBR. We've covered World's Oldest, at least some of what you do with World's Oldest, JCCF. How about we talk a little bit about the Turquoise Circuit Finals? You're involved with that. That's our rodeo that we have here for our local circuit here in the Southwest, Turquoise Circuit. Tell us a little bit about your involvement there and kind of how you help out. And
yeah, you bet. Turquoise Circuit is one of 12 circuits in the U.S. We're New Mexico and Arizona. This is a project that Jim Dewey suckered me in on. Turns out I love it. It's a great circuit to be with and work with, and the people are great. So we do, my agency does all of the marketing and advertising and logistical production stuff for the rodeo. And then this year, I've stepped into a new role with them. So I'm the circuit manager. So now I'm working with the president and the PRCA office and the WPRA office to kind of manage all of the logistical details and all of the stuff that's in the fine print in those approval forms. So, the circuit's great. The circuit was here. It was in Prescott Valley for a few years over at Fond du Lac, and currently in Camp Verde. And I'm just, the future of the circuit looks really great. And I think we have new leadership, and there's some fun announcements getting ready to come out. And I think the future is really bright for the circuit. And again, the circuit does similar to JCCF. We rely on the industry. So the circuit represents all of the professional rodeos that are sanctioned in the 2 states. And we rely heavily on rodeo committees within that circuit to help us with our finals. So basically the circuit finals is a culmination of the end of the season, and the guys and gals had to have competed in your rodeos, and they are ranked, and they are then invited to come and compete at the circuit finals. And from there, they go on to the NFR Open, which is another championship event. So it's the PRCA did a great job of setting up that circuit system. It represents the states well, and it gives an opportunity for cowboys who are, whether they're circuit, like weekend warrior cowboys, or full-time cowboys, like there's an opportunity for them to be a part of the structure in the system.
Yeah, I think for our listeners, it kind of really, this circuit helps those guys and gals that are, working full time or part time, whatever, but they're taking their weekends to do this, and it really kind of helps get them opportunities locally in the circuit. Not to say that your full time PRCA cowboys aren't there, but it really kind of helps, wouldn't you say, more the local weekend cowboy?
It definitely does, and I think that there's a lot of guys and gals that don't want to be gone from home all the time. I mean, like it's a full time, like you're on the road. I don't even know how many days some of these, like the top 30 are on the road a lot. And so if you have a family at home, maybe you own a business, maybe you have other responsibilities and you just don't want to go full time, that circuit system really does allow you to settle into your week and then enter a few rodeos on the weekend. And the way that our rodeos are really good in our circuit about trying to schedule around each other to create opportunity for these cowboys and cowgirls to go to as many rodeos as they can in a weekend. Yep. And it's all very, there's a lot of strategy behind it seems. But this is a fun circuit, and we have a lot of great rodeos. There's a lot of committees out there just like World's Oldest, and they do hard work for their communities, and it's a celebration of their community and a lot of like deep rooted in Western tradition. And it's great for us to work together to make sure that we're promoting this lifestyle, because in some areas around the country, rodeo and the Western way of life is sort of it's been built up with concrete buildings. So I think it's really important what we do in these communities to educate people. So
yeah, that's right. And we're recording this, I want to say 7-8 months before the Turquoise Circuit Finals, right? That's early November.
Yep, correct.
So, keep in mind, Julie's working hard with a whole team of folks, of course, now to produce a rodeo that's going to be early November. So, people, a lot of folks don't understand what it takes to put on a rodeo and like how much time and when you got to start. I know in our case, Jim Dewey is working on, well, he's probably thinking about the next rodeo before the 138th is done. He's probably already thinking about 139. But I know certainly as soon as the rodeo's over, he's on to the next theme and the sponsors. And so it just takes a lot of effort.
It really is. It's year-round work. It is for sure year-round work. And as you go along, you get ideas or you see something somewhere and you think we should incorporate that. And sometimes, you're looking at your logistical schedule and you're like, okay, we can't incorporate this year, but we got to do it next year. And so it gets put on a schedule. But yeah, you have to, I don't think you guys do this, but like we do for Turquoise Circuit, we have to negotiate, our venue contracts and verify dates. And then once that's done, then we can start, sponsorship sales and ticket sales and then the promotion and advertising. And it's just sort of on a calendar, and it is definitely year-round work. And like most committees, we are a different kind of committee, but we do need the volunteers. We rely on volunteers as well. And I love that rodeo committees, and especially here, there's a great volunteer base and people love it. Like they like bleed world's oldest. And that's one great thing about coming into this community is everybody is like on board. I just ate breakfast at Zeke's this morning, and I just love looking at the walls in there. It's just nothing but rodeo. There's a little plug for Zeke's, but it's
do they run videos?
Old video. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought that I'm not even sure what era of NFR that was running. I don't know. Is it on a VHS?
70s,
it might be a
80s,
VHS. Yeah. But it's something that this community thrives on, and it's great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, lots of work there. So thanks for what you do for Turquoise, and we look forward to a big announcement and what you have coming up. Bright future for Turquoise Circuit finals. I want to make sure everybody out there remembers that you need to get tickets for the rodeo soon. I think, Julie, as of this recording, we're sold out for maybe 3 nights already.
That's fantastic.
It was crazy to watch what happened when we opened tickets up and had a line, way out the door and folks online, of course. But just want to remind everybody to get tickets soon and go to worldsoldestrodeo.com. I did a search today, and World's Oldest Rodeo, our official website, wasn't the first one that comes up. It was, I don't know, one of the other big vendors, Ticketmaster, somebody. But please make sure you go to worldsoldestrodeo.com and only there to get your tickets for the rodeo. Well, we got to end on something kind of fun, Julie, here. Surely there's some dirt you have on Jim Dewey Brown out there.
Oh,
something funny? No?
Oh, man.
This is your opportunity to get even with him.
I don't know. I better think about that. Oh, I think he's, this is not dirt. I think he does a great job for this community. And I know that everybody enjoys working with him. And you guys are lucky to have him here.
Yeah.
So,
no, we know that. We're so fortunate and always love the fact that Jim, you talked about a work ethic, and you guys have that in common. Just his work ethic to be able to do what he does for Prescott Frontier Days and College Rodeo, among other things. But to be the commissioner of College Rodeo, and I know you help him on that side a little bit as well. Great guy.
He's a great guy. You guys are lucky to have him. He is, really always willing to listen to ideas. And he is, like you said, he calls when he has an idea. I always call when I have an idea. Like, walk me through this. What am I missing? And as I own a small business, and so Jim's sort of like an employee, an unpaid employee, and he gets to bounce ideas around. But it's always fun. It's going to be fun, and you're going to work hard, and It's fun. Yeah. I can't share any other stories.
It's not fit for the podcast.
Seems like I might get in trouble.
Well, this year's theme for our rodeo is Women in Rodeo, and we're tipping our hats to Women in Rodeo. We tip our hat to you, Julie, for all you do for rodeo in so many different ways. I appreciate what you do, and I know Jim appreciates you and loves working with you. And Jim is a big proponent of Women in Rodeo. When he first came, started the breakaway roping, and so he is a visionary that way and progressive, and I appreciate what he does for women in rodeo, and we want to honor them this year. So,
well, thank you guys for honoring women in rodeo. I think there's a lot of ways that women can get involved in rodeo. It doesn't have to be in the competition arena. I mean, that's a great place to start. But beyond that, in this era of time, there's a lot of ways that women can be involved in rodeo, and there's a lot of them that make a heck of a big difference in what we do. So it's great that you guys recognize that.
We have a president currently, Kim Lopez, who is a great contributor to our rodeo. We've had many presidents before, women presidents that have helped out. And of course, you talk about volunteers, and we have great volunteers, lots of women in leadership roles. And Jim's done a good job too with youth. He's really brought in some kids, some high school kids that he really gives opportunities to learn rodeo. And I think that's a great benefit. And because to your point, not everybody's going to be competing in the rodeo. We need people in all aspects helping out.
I agree with that. In fact, one thing that you guys do have that I'm trying to implement with another client is your youth volunteer program. There's a name for it. What do you guys call it? The youth.
I should remember
ambassadors.
This right now.
Youth ambassadors.
Thank you. You saved me.
So in fact, just this morning I had a call with a group about it. So what we're trying to do is sort of place youth into positions that they're really interested in volunteering in. I mean, we can always get youth to come in and take out the trash and carry cases of water. You and I have to do that, Greg. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's great to have the volunteers for that, but to get these kids involved in something that, do you have an interest in marketing? Do you have an interest in social media? Do you have, what is your area of interest? Like, let's get you hands-on working as a high schooler in these areas and see, is this something I really want to do? When I graduated college, I was toying with the idea of going and getting a master's, and my uncle said, do you want to learn to work or do you want to work? And I was like, I want to work. And so I did not go get my master's, and this is not a great, nothing against anyone who gets a master's. I think that the education, depending on what you do, is super important, but I wanted to work. And I would say that most of my experience and what I've been able to accomplish is because I went in at ground level and I wore all the hats. And with my small business, I still wear all the hats. Mm. And so I love the idea of bringing these youth in and letting them wear a hat and see what they like to do. Yeah. Because you're more apt to help them in the future. That lesson and experience will help them down the road.
Yeah, so. That's right. I think in Future Farmers of America, it's learning by doing, right?
Love it. Yes. Yeah.
I think that's what you're talking about. Yep. So Jim's given those kids a great opportunity to learn kind of the back house of rodeo and kind of what it takes to produce a rodeo. And so it's been a great experience. I'm glad maybe some other rodeos are going to do the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I love it. It's a great initiative. So.
Well, I know you're a busy lady. You're busy with the PBR and among other things right now, but thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for your leadership with JCCF and all the things that you do to help rodeo in Prescott, but also in Arizona and across the country. And look forward to seeing you again at our rodeo this summer. So thanks so much, Julie.
I'll be there. Thank you, Greg. Great to see you. Bye.
That's all for Ride With Us podcast today. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.